Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon for the month of February tarot oracle reading. And Cancer, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, we still all have a little bit of that sign in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is it in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information for you to empower you. This is a collective or general reading, so parts of it may or may not resonate. Take what works for you and leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning that if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. If I have posted this some time ago, what was going on in your life back then, if you look into that, it may give you further clarity as to your situation. All right, so we're going to begin with the energy from the bottom of the deck for the underlying energy for the reading. And we have the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is about immature competition. There's all these adolescents here, and they're fighting. Are they play fighting or are they real fighting? We don't know for sure. But this card is my Mean Girls card. So what I mean by that, it's like think of narcissistic cheerleaders who are in a competition and they realize the other team is better than them and is going to beat them, but they'll do anything to win. So if they don't, their mothers will find a way. And this is the energy of people who haven't matured enough yet to understand that when you are in a competition, you're actually in competition with the last best version of yourself. And so even if you're competing on a team against other teams, your performance is going to indicate whether or not your team wins. So it's kind of that, if each team player does the best that they can on the team, then the whole comes together and your team is more likely to win. So that, you can learn from competition. And so if you see them doing something that's like way better than you can do it, you can watch and learn. And that's the kind of energy, how you can learn the most you can from competition rather than getting upset that you didn't get the medal, that kind of energy. Those were in the days before helicopter parenting, where everybody got a medal whether they won or not, because parents were concerned that their children would be sad that they didn't win. And the problem with that is when they get out into the real world, there's going to be lots of times, you may have noticed, there's going to be lots of times where you don't win. And there's, that's real life. So this is the sun coming in, so you could be happy anyway. This is the energy. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. It's representing God himself. This is a young child on this pony, and look how this young child is handling this heavy banner without a problem and balanced on this horse's back. That kind of, really carefree, and all the sunflowers in the background indicate the sunny disposition and, how the sunflowers will follow the sun. This is saying that this is what you're destined to be, is a happy person. Just stay on your path that you came on this planet to accomplish with God, and you will have all this beauty to deal with. And so this energy is also bringing in the horse right away. On the 17th of February, we will have the Chinese New Year, and we will be moving from the year of the snake into the year of the fiery horse. And so this energy is all about galloping into the new. Like, it's a very inspiring energy, very uplifting. It's about new, that kind of energy. Like, let's do something new, and let's see how much, it's a very setting very high goals and then seeing if you can achieve them kind of energy. In matters of love, it can be very, very inspirational and exciting and passionate, as well as having a lot of heart. Horses have a lot of heart, and the horses basically represent our emotions in the tarot. And the energy is of the fire horse. The one thing that we really need to pay attention to is, in particular, this is for the fire signs, but for everyone, if you add too much fuel to the fire, This energy can be very impulsive, and if you've ever ridden on a horse, they have a bit in the mouth, and you control the direction the horse goes with the reins. And it's dependent on the horse being able to feel the sensitivity at the corners of the mouth. But if that horse gets the bit in its teeth and it starts to run, you're going to have one heck of a time to be able to hang on. The horse could take you down a path that you don't want to go down for a long way, for miles and miles, until it calms down if it's been spooked, and that happens. So it's saying really be careful of being impulsive and running with it, you know, and then regretting it later. That's the energy. So we have and this is for the internal forces. So this is really good. This is saying that you're internally, like everything inside of you, you're feeling really happy and, you know, destined to move forward in a good way. And right away we have the King of Pentacles here. So the King of Pentacles is representing an energy of having a lot of ability to produce on planet Earth. Pentacles are about health, wealth, happiness. A big part of that is money, so it's represented by the coin. But it's not just about money, it's about lifestyle. And so you could have all the money in the world but still not be living the lifestyle that you want to live. And this energy is talking about someone who probably earns their living dealing like with banking or finances, an accountant, a financial advisor. You know, they would be likely to be a partner in the firm, kind of that, like higher up. This also can represent like ministers in the government of finance. It can be that kind of energy. You know, someone who is really looked up to for their business acumen. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So Cancer hasn't showed up yet, like the energy, the water energy, the cups of love or any of that. But we do have a lot of Pentacles here. So is this competition over all this money here? This is a message coming in. The Knights would work for the King and the Queen, and they would travel for miles to deliver messages to other kingdoms. And so, you know, they'd have to go all the way there, get the message delivered, get the message to return, and then go all the way back. It would take sometimes days or weeks or months even, in some cases, for them to get the answer back to the court. And these days, of course, we have, you know, so many forms of information that the information, rather than coming in personally like that, is more likely to come in by a phone call, a letter, an email, a text message. It could be a social media post. We could see something on the news. Whatever's happening on the news, it's good to pay attention to for a few minutes a day, because it allows you to recognize what's happening on big scale in the world does have an effect on everyone underneath that energy. And so on some smaller level, it could be playing out in your own life. So the Knight of Pentacles is actually the slowest moving knight in the deck. So if you've been waiting for information, it might be taking a while for it to come in. But that's because the Knight of Pentacles is very thorough. He's checking right now, which direction should I go in, checking the wind, I guess. And his horse is at a standstill. And so this energy represents being very thorough about the information. So when he does come in with the information, generally it can be like, it's very accurate, and it sometimes can be about a legacy for money. And with this King of Pentacles here, this kind of money is, you know, a legacy of wealth. It's generational wealth that would be passed down from one generation to the next. So it's a lot of money. It's not just a little bit of money. And then we have the Chariot here. And so the Chariot is saying that something is, now that this information has come in, something is going to be happening very quickly. And it's about being on your destined path, this energy here. And, you know, when you're on the Chariot, there's no reins, because God has the reins, basically. So you're just, it's like a tank rolling through, like it's unstoppable. Your destiny is your destiny. It's what God promised you when you were born, basically, to happen. And so this energy is talking about being on your destined path, and it can also be about karma. happening because of the energy. Like this is just like a bulldozer. It's going to move through, and anything that gets in its way is going to be be put out of the way, basically. And we have judgment coming in. So I don't know if you're like waiting for judgment in a legal matter. It's coming through. Also, this is judgment from the spiritual realm coming in. And it's talking about, like, the trumpet is blowing and the ancestors are out of their box and they're cheering and the descendants are waving back and forth. So across the water here. And this is saying that across the veil, the ancestors are thrilled. They're absolutely ecstatic because this justice, this law and order, whatever this is coming in. And it could be that there was some sort, because this is like a generational wealth, legacy of wealth situation. It could be that there was something that happened to the money that your ancestors worked so hard for, and somehow it was misappropriated or something, and perhaps now it's being brought back into alignment and you're going to be receiving something. And then there's an Ace of Cups here. So now we have some water energy. And this is the Ace. This is like the cup of all cups. So the Ace of Cups is talking about a divine gift coming in. And this is like it's overflowing. Do you see the water is just like it's like a fountain that just keeps running. And it's talking about love and more love and more love. And so this generally represents love, like romantic love, or love for having a divine partner. But sometimes it also can represent it can represent unconditional love, like for your children, your family, that kind of energy, as well as it can represent something you love to be or something you love to do kind of energy. And this dove represents peace. So it's talking about, a peaceful love, like bringing in a lot of joy and peace and happiness. Really beautiful reading, Cancer. And then look at this. Talk about love. We have the Queen of Cups coming in. And so this is talking about the Queen of Cups has a lid on her cup because she is a container of unconditional love, and that's what it represents. And it's almost like a trophy, like her love is like she's someone that is most likely of the four queens to be like traditionally married and have a family and probably home with her children and just loving her children and cooking really good meals and keeping the house in a beautiful way and just really being loving to everyone, like her families, her neighbors, her pets, the animals in the area, someone who's just really generous, and it's a very maternal energy. And so this sometimes does represent your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother down the matriarchal line. So what's going on here, Cancer? Let's see. We have your identity and your self-image. And this is of someone who is overflowing with abundance. We have and has a very good understanding of how to continue that abundance to pass down. So you may be yourself a professional in the banking system or something like that. We have abundance and self-worth. And so this is talking about slow and steady, kind of. Slow and steady wins the race. So it's talking about like that your abundance is always like gaining interest, kind of that energy. It's very stable. You have a lot of eggs in a lot of baskets, not just one, egg in one basket sort of energy. And then we have the communication from early life, and this is talking about you. It feels like you have a strong connection with source energy, with God Himself. And here is the emotional foundation from your upbringing. Yeah. So this is talking about looking to God for the direction and wanting to stay on your path, and that energy is talking about being able to communicate, like praying. And also meditating and going inward for answers, using your intuition as well as your logic. That's the kind of energy we're talking about here. Creativity, romance, and children. So this is saying, like, basically what I said here. all this love, and it's a peaceful situation. And then we have health and your daily routine and habits, and this is the energy of, like as I said, like the Queen of Cups is someone that, loves to show her affection through her actions a lot of the time. So it would be like someone that always shows up. If when you were a child, like she would make sure was there to watch that hockey game, or to make sure that she was on the school board to make sure you had a good upbringing. Spending a lot of investing a lot of her time in the community matters when it came to matters that affected her family and children, and doing what she could to improve the community, basically. So the energy right now that we have with this, what this reading is about, the full moon on February 1st, that is a Leo full moon. And the Leo full moon is talking about this kind of energy. It's saying, the Leo energy is saying, I'm a leader and I want to do things my way, and I want to express myself and be very creative, and I want it to be about me. I need to put myself first right now. And across from the Aquarius, or the Leo energy on the wheel on the horoscope, is directly across is the Aquarius energy, and we're in the sun is in Aquarius right now, and the sun is shining light on anything that's hidden at this full moon. And it's saying, hey, you need to pay attention to what's happening in your community. You need to pay attention to what's happening in the world. Your efforts have to be too concerned with making the world a better place. This is the Aquarius energy, and it's about the group, not so much the individual. So there's this kind of back and forth energy, right, from that February 1st full moon. And as I'm doing this reading, it will be the 23rd or 24th that this is posted. And this energy is just saying that there's anything that is not in the best of the community, and of larger scale groups, that energy is going to be shown, and it's going to be highlighted by the sun. And the moon energy is going to fight back and say, I don't care, I am going to be an individual and I'm going to do it my way. So we're seeing actually a lot of that playing out at Davos. If you were watching any of that, it was like watching a movie with all the politicians and all the, like it's a little ski town in Switzerland, and then the next thing you know, it's for a few days, and they've got like, businesses are turned into like centers for each country, or companies or whatever, and there are all this talk, and it's very, very interesting to watch all the politicians at play. I'm still trying to figure out why the French president or prime minister, I'm sorry, I'm not sure whether it's prime minister or president, was wearing sunglasses through his speech, and all the whole time he was there. And I was like, does he have a black eye or something? Like, what is he trying, like, why can't he take his sunglasses off? It was really weird. Anyway, I digress. But that's the kind of energy, and Davos reminds me of this energy so much. It was just, you could see it all playing out there. And okay, so now we're going to look at the external forces. So the external forces, the internal forces are the things that you do have control over. So it's, you don't have control over what other people say and do, but you do have control over whether you react to it or are you going to respond to it. And so then the other energy is the external forces, and external forces are what you don't have control over. And let's see what those are now. Okay, so we have the truth is coming out, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And so if you do have some sort of legalities happening here, which it seems that there is, that are going to bring a lot of happiness in when they're solved, this is coming out, and that's saying the external forces are going to bring the truth of this matter out, and there will be some sort of you know, that when people swear on a Bible in court, they say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. So this energy is talking about possibly court matters. And then we have conviction beyond a doubt, the Seven of Swords, or Seven of Wands. And so this card represents someone who knows what they know. Like they are willing to fight for what this is because they know what they know. And they have conviction beyond a doubt that this is the action that they want to take. This is the direction they're going in. They're standing on high ground here. Now this could represent people that are in competition with them, or it could be maybe just the wands represent actions that have been taken. So, but it looks like it's competition because he's having to protect himself and his position. And if you notice, he's wearing a boot and a shoe. So he may have been in a rush and just didn't even look what footwear he put on because he needed to protect this. And he's got a wand over his heart, and that indicates that he will fight for this. Like this is something that is, well, he knows what he knows. You know how if you know something, if you've seen it with your own eyes and you know it, and someone says, well, you don't know that. And you say, yes, I do know it because I saw it with my own eyes. And then they say, no, you don't. And you say, yeah, absolutely. Conviction beyond a doubt. I saw it with my own eyes. And I'm telling you, this is what happened. And that's the kind of energy. So this could be an eyewitness account or whatever. It's interesting because I just left it at that. And then one of my collective, which is like awesome, asked, is this conviction like in the legal system, like a prison sentence? And I said, oh, I never even thought of that, you know. And so this could be that there's going to be some sort of conviction in a court of law, without a doubt. It's on the way, it's happening. The truth is coming out. And and it feels like it's regarding this competition because everything else here is just like you being in your happy energy, you know, and your ancestors are thrilled because this is happening. There's all this love here. And then all of a sudden we get into this, and all of a sudden we have to be fighting and that kind of energy. So let's see. Okay, carrying other people's burdens. So this is representing, you know, as I said, the wands are actions that we take. So if we plant seeds and then they grow, this would be the harvest. So this could be, oh, these wands are heavy with the fruit of your labors, and they're heavy. This could also be like, this is external forces. So this could be like the energy of the people outside of you that have caused this energy in your life. And so they are perhaps thought they were going to reap the harvest, but now they are totally burdened with it. It's kind of like they can't see where they're going. They don't know what's going to happen next kind of energy. They're close to home. They were very close to landing this, like, and getting away with it. But now it's become a very big burden. And it's carrying burdens of actions. And I feel like that this is the competition. There's going to be, because look at it, it's this color, and look at this is all your internal forces. These external forces, there's competition, there's conviction beyond a doubt, there's eyewitnesses that have seen what they've done. They are burdened now. What they thought was going to be a big harvest has turned out to be a huge burden. Like, look, it's very heavy, and this person is trying to shoulder the load, but it's almost impossible. And then we have the King of Cups coming in. So this is interesting because this energy is saying, the King of Cups, he's out in the middle of this water here, and it's the water, when it's rough like this in tarot, represents like a lot of emotion, like mixed emotions and, you know, really volatile emotions. But he's sitting out in the cup, or on his throne here, on a slab of cement, it looks like, or a rock. And he's chill. Because the King of Cups, out of all the kings, he's the most emotionally available, and he's offering a cup of love. And usually this is talking about romantic love, especially with this Ace of Cups here. So this could represent someone coming in and wanting you to, you know, maybe marry them, proposing to you or something like that. Or this could be the energy of saying, hey, that they really love what you're doing, and want to involve themselves in your pentacles kind of energy. Like, let's work together. This could represent a partner that you have that you've invested something that you love to do with. So let's see what this is about. Is this King of Cups coming in to empower you to have this justice, or is this King of Cups involved in this energy here? We have the Knight of Swords. Now look at the difference in the energy here and here. So this is the horse energy rushing in. But like, this horse is totally stressed out. Look at this horse and look at this horse. This is a workhorse kind of energy. This is a stable horse, and this is like a horse that's being driven very hard. So this person is either running towards something or running away from it. And so the position of this card would be here. So it looks like this the Knight of Swords represents some information coming in that is regarding thoughts, emotions, and probably the truth, because the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. This generally is coming from like an energy of someone that uses their words to be able to earn their living, and it quite often could be lawyer energy, that kind of energy. So this is this. It feels like this knight is bringing in communication, information. And it could be from the king to you, saying, hey, I found out some information about the competition, and I'm sorting through it because I haven't quite, you can't see the point of his sword, so I haven't quite have it 100%, but I'm working on it. And this is letting him know. Or this could be the competition running away from the King of Cups, and running away from like this being known kind of energy. So either they're running towards something, and they don't like seem to be running. If they're running towards you with the information, I feel like it's because it's from the King of Cups. That's the because here's the King of Cups, and all of a sudden here's the first sword we have other than the truth coming in. So this could be saying the king has studied what has happened here, and has information about what happened. Now, this could be financial information, but it's about pentacles, but it could be something that happened with your love interest. So the King of Cups could be your love interest, and this information is about him rushing in. Just take it how it works for you, past, present, and future. We have the Emperor here now. So the Emperor is all four kings rolled into one. So he's the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups, plus he's the King of Swords. So he is in a position of authority. And he's also, we have the King of Pentacles here, we have the King of Cups. The King of Wands is about being a visionary and forward-moving energy. The King of very charming, and someone that is kind of like the life of the party, more entrepreneur energy, that kind of energy. And then we also have we have the Pentacles. Who are we missing? The Wands. Yeah, and then the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is generally representing someone who earns their living using their words. And that would be like lawyers, judges, that kind of energy, politicians, people that are motivators, like someone like influencers, that kind of energy. But they're all wrapped up into one person. And the Emperor is all about performance. So I feel like this is something to do with, because this showed up here, I feel like this, and we have the King of Cups and the King and the Queen of Cups. So I feel like now that the Emperor has come in, that the Emperor would be the one. I feel like this Knight of Swords is coming to the Emperor to give information about this King of Cups and what happened here with the Queen of Cups, Pentacles, basically. That's the energy. or they're a couple, because they're a couple, but maybe there was sometimes this could represent with the sword energy that they're no longer together because of something that happened. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. We have one more card here. Okay, look at that. And this information coming in causes like a never-ending nightmare. It's like, oh, like is this possible? Like something very, dramatic happened here. And I feel like it has to do with the pentacles and with the competition. And so this energy is the energy of the truth coming out. So this is causing a never-ending nightmare, or could cause a never-ending nightmare, or has been causing a never-ending nightmare for what otherwise should have been a very happy situation and home life. But perhaps something that the King of Cups did externally has affected the Queen of Cups' ability to be in this energy that she's supposed to be in, and it has to do with competition. Now, because it's the King of Cups, is it competition from another lover, that kind of competition, that he stepped outside the marriage kind of energy? One thing, or did the Queen do so? Because one thing about the King of Cups, he is the most emotionally available, but if he feels like he's been betrayed, he is the most likely to hold a grudge. And the other meaning of this card can be that some sort of truth came in from God himself, from the divine, through the Holy Spirit in the wee hours of the morning. Generally that happens between 2 and 4 in the morning, and you'll have a very real dream or wake up with a thought and you're like, I gotta go check this out, that kind of energy. And this quilt has cosmic symbols on it, and it's saying the universe has you covered here. And so this could be trying to remember, what was that dream about? And like it had consistent steps of action that you could take to get resolution in this. I feel like that this was inspiration from the divine here came in. And we have the situation. Now this here is your position for commitment, marriage, and partnerships. So it looks like there's some sort of fight over this position of partnership and marriage. We have here the transformation and death, and also shared resources. So see that energy, again, this is where the competition's coming in this position. The Queen here, this is representing her daily routine and habits being changed because of this energy. We have the King is in the position of higher learning and traveling and education. So it could be like the King travels a lot. And when kings travel a lot, sometimes you don't really know what the king's been doing, especially in the old days when, you didn't have phones or texts, or how are you ever going to know? There's no social media. But these days, if someone was stepping out, you would find, like the paparazzi would definitely be there. It's a different energy in these times. And so this is about your career, reputation, and public image. And so I feel like definitely the King did something, and the Emperor is on it. And so this is talking about, the Emperor is talking about having blessings. Like this is bringing the truth in. The truth always represents blessings. So, and this is about high performance. So he would, this energy, this information, I do feel comes up regarding the King, and it has to do with the marriage. There was competition in the marriage that you may not have been aware of if you're the Queen of Cups. So this energy is like, of course it's going to cause a lot of upset, but at the same time, it was divinely orchestrated that this truth come out at this time so that you would still be able to continue on your divine path and with the pentacles that belong to you kind of energy. Well, it started off really great. And it's still like you're better off always to have the truth come out. But let's look at this a little bit deeper here. I'm going to look into this and just clarify it a little bit. If you're enjoying this reading, please do give it a like and comment. It really does empower me to move forward. Isn't that interesting how this energy is about, like, that the queen is in this, hey, I need to know something, like, about, for me. To hell with the group energy. That's the kind of energy. I want to know, what is this about? What's going on here? Yeah. And it may have been going on for some time. It may have been going on, you know, for some time. I mean, this could represent that the queen was the one and the king is found out, but I don't really feel that. I feel like this is more about the energy of something the king did. Gallivanting is the word that I'm getting. Yeah, when that horse got the bit in its mouth and it took off, it did a, you know, it took him way off course, like way off course. It took him to another country. That's what's happened. And back at, yeah, like, how would you know? That's, you know. So anyway, we're going to clarify this, and I'm using my Oracle Tales from the Vector, TAILS, and this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And so we're going to, I started working on this in 2007. I'm an artist, so I did all these really big dragon paintings, which is with crystals, and they're very detailed paintings, so it took me a long time to do them. I had a lot of fun doing them. I've had the cards out at psychic fairs in the past, and, you know, in my seminars and stuff, but I didn't have the whole deck done. And so this energy from the deck, I have, right now I'm at the point where I'm bringing it out. Like, I have everything done as far as being able to print the images. And now I'm looking at getting, and I have a lot of information already about each of the cards, but I want to play with them, because that's how you really find out how they come out. And that's what I'm doing now. So in the description box below, I will put the numbers the paintings they're on the cards, and I'll put them in the order they appear. They may give you some more information. You know, they say a picture paints 1,000 words. And I'm just tuning in. I've been tuning into this information, and I just don't feel quite ready. I want to make sure we're tuned totally into this situation for you, Cancer. And the full moon energy. So that's about releasing whatever is not here before the year of the horse, like the brand new year of the horse comes in. Would be a really good idea, so that you can really embrace the new energy then. Okay, so the Lovers is coming out. Oh, there's two here. Okay, so this is talking, the competition is a lover. So that's confirming that there was some infidelity here. And there's also, this is the Fool. When they begin their journey, they're at the zero point. And if you're in alignment with your path, with God's path, the one that God put you on, then you're on a foolhardy journey, and you can anticipate good things coming. And that's why I feel like this energy is the Queen of Cups, and she's in a relationship with the King of Cups, but there was some competition in their partnership, in their marriage. And they could have been partners in business or something as well. You might have, there's that kind of energy, because it's sitting, like, this is in a position of, you know, conviction, right? And we have this justice coming in, and now we have the Emperor, like, and this could be like information coming in from the prosecutor, lawyers, etc. So the King's looking pretty calm, but he, you know, I feel like he's, you know. And it could also say that while the King was away, you know, what did they say? When the cat's away, the mice will play. So the Queen could have been up to infidelity while the King was away, because how would he know? Except everybody in the court would know, you would think, and would tell him. But if the King feels he's been betrayed, he is the most likely to hold a grudge, and he will get to the bottom of it. So it could be the other way around too. It could be. All right, so now we're going to see here, we have dissemination of information. So this is politician energy. You know, when politicians, they're like at Davos, you can watch this happening. And it was kind of funny to watch. I enjoyed watching Davos a little bit because it's a different type of atmosphere, and everybody's kind of like it's all these elites gathering, and then you have these aggressive reporters and that were from in Canada, and they're just like hounding because they can walk along with the politicians and hey, you know, scrum them, they call it, and ask them questions they've been wanting to ask that they couldn't get them to ask in you know, like back here in Canada. And so it was like dissemination of information is when someone's asked a question and they go, elephant, what elephant in the room? And they change the subject, or they talk in words that nobody can understand what they're saying. So it's dissemination of information. It's not clear. But in all fairness to politicians, every profession has their own language. Like banking has their own language. Doctors and surgeons have their own medical language. You know, you have scientists have their mathematical language, like physicists, etc. And so if you don't learn their language, then you won't be able to understand what they're saying a lot of the time. So it's that kind of energy. But there's an elephant in the room, but hey, what elephant? And that's the energy I feel is like represented here. We have the indifference. So indifference is a karmic space where you can see it's saying we're working. A lot of people will say that they're at the top. I don't know why Davos just keeps coming up, but you know, we're at the top here, and hey, we're all in this together, except they're flying in their private jets, and you know, it's thousands of dollars a night just to stay there, and they're dressed to the nines, and they're going out for really fancy meals, etc. And so yeah, we're all in it together, but are we really, like, we're not there with you. And so and it's funny because you know, our tax-paying dollars pay for the politicians to go in their private jets. And what I found really interesting about this year was in the past it's all been about the earth, you know, we have to be protecting the earth, and it's all about carbon imprints and everything, and not a single one of them even mentioned that. Now it's all about AI. So I don't know, it's that kind of like indifference of, you know, like blatant indifference, really. And so the hangman is talking about the balance. So the hangman hangs upside down from the tree of knowledge, and the hangman is you know, he wants to gain new perspective. So when his halo around, or his aura around his head is bright enough, it means, okay, I think I've looked at this from all angles, and now I'm ready to take action. And so, and this is right on the chariot. It's talking about it's in motion. Okay, so there was some foolish energy here, and I feel this is coming from this competition energy. And it's about expecting that things were going to go in their favor. So expectations create limitations. When you think, oh, it's going to go this way. Have you ever, like, how many times have, you know, when we talk about the what ifs, when you're laying in bed and you're thinking, what if this happens? What if I do this and this happens? Have you ever noticed that when you're in that worried state, the thought that you had of the very worst thing that could happen isn't anywhere near what happens? Like, you couldn't even think about how bad it really could be. And that's when you're, instead of laying in bed saying, what if this happens? It's what the EF happened. The external forces happened. Something came from outside of your brain, something you didn't even think of, that was even like something totally out in left field, and that's what happened. and that's the energy. The problem is never what you think it is. Because we live, you know, it's in your brain, it's in your head. When you're in that what if, you're asking a logical question. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if I do this? Then you go through all the steps of all the things you can think of that could happen. But you need to use your intuition, because there's all these external forces out there that could cause other things to happen that you have not even thought of. That's the energy. It's kind of interesting reading. It's making me laugh. I'm not like at the situation, but you may as well find the humor in it, because the truth is funny. It really is, like when you look at it from that perspective. So we have the Virgo energy coming in. I just want to make it clear that when I have horoscope signs come in, I'm talking about not, okay, a Virgo did it kind of energy. That's not what I'm saying. In your life, that could be a Virgo did it. But that's not what I'm trying to nail down here. This is for a lot of people. What I'm dealing with is the state of being of that sign. So each and every one of the signs has some sort of special characteristic that can really empower all of us. And we all have a little bit of each of the signs and the planets within us in different areas of our lives. It just isn't in the sun sign, so it's not so apparent. So the Virgo energy is when you reach the age basically where you're getting your college degree. And so you're a young adult. You have your degree, or you have your ticket, if you've been going after a trade, or you have what you need to really move forward. And it's about really strong communication skills and being able to contribute because of that. Mercury rules the Virgo energy. So Mercury is all about communication. And that energy is very fluid. And so the energy here is, to be able to use analytical critique, like to be able to go look at your results and scientifically look them up and like, oh, okay, I can see from the graph I could have done this or that. You can do that like being on YouTube and not knowing what you're doing. Like you know what you're doing. You can read cards and whatever. I'm talking about myself here. But I know I'm not worried about that part of it. It's about learning how to edit, learning how to, what format does everything have to be in? What are the rules that you have to use? What is the best time frame to upload your videos? Learning all the curves, and then you can get into all the analytics. Like you can actually find out exactly when people drop off and the percentages, and it's really overwhelming. And sometimes it's really hard to look at, especially when you're starting out and you're like, oh, I don't even want to know that. I'm just trying to make sure I get the videos done and figure out how to upload them correctly so that, and improve my performance like in my videos. But the analytical critique can be very empowering. A lot of people don't want to look at that part of it because it's hard to look at, because it's like they take it as a criticism of what they're doing. But if you look at it from, hey, this is showing you exactly in scientific terms where, what you need to improve in, then you can, every time you upload a video, you could be 1% better, right? And if you keep doing that, every time you upload, you put, oh, okay, I looked into that, so I fixed that. Then another, then the analytics will say, but you need to do this as well. And then you do that, and then it says, well, over here. So it's that kind of energy. You can't take it too seriously, but use it as, and you can't take it personally. It's to improve your performance. There's a fine line between anal criticism and analytical critique. And so you have to be careful of that when you're using it with yourself and with others. And then we have attachment here. So this is another karmic space. And attachment is about what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. And so this is the mother of all the karmic spaces, because once we become attached to something and we want to keep it, we'll be very, and there may have been some sort of energy there where you may, if this is the Queen of Cups energy and you're that energy, you recognize that something was up. And so you're trying to do your best to hang on to your marriage and your partnership and your position. And that, that kind of attachment can cause people, like you can become indifferent to other people's suffering to do what you have to hang on to what you've got kind of energy. And like I was saying, the King of Cups is very much, does not do well with betrayal. And so, and look at this, we have the Leo energy coming in, and this is saying, talking about the full moon. So the truth is coming out. This could be like that full moon is on the 1st. And so there could be some sort of information that will, Leo energy is about that leadership. And I feel like this is saying, when it comes to this matter, you need to look out for yourself, Cancer. You need to adopt that, be like the Leo and say, hey, I'm number one, and I'm going to make myself a priority in this situation until it's resolved. And then I'll look at the dynamics of the group again. But at this point, I'm going to look after myself. And that's a good attitude to take at this point. There could have been some sort of abuse of power in your marriage relationship. This is, coming, it's just, again, if people become attached to something, they can be, and this also could be a scenario that just came up. The king, you may be wanting to leave the king, and the king doesn't want you to leave, kind of energy. And then we have the 2026. I feel like that you're going to be a superstar, and you're going to overcome this energy. These burdens do not belong to you, is what's coming up. Those are external forces. And so this is about being able to speak about it and have harmony in your life again, like here. That's the energy. And then we have Temperance. So Temperance is saying staying very patient and devoting your energy to staying on your path no matter what. That you're not going to stoop to low, you're not going to lower your standards to beat the competition kind of energy. You're going to stay on your divine path. And you're going to do your best to, have a good attitude about it, that kind of energy. And then we have worldly and otherworldly desires coming in. I do feel like I feel like this is about the King of Cups, probably more likely, but as I said, it could be either, back and forth. And this is, worldly desires, and, some people, when it comes to spirituality, they feel like, oh, you shouldn't have anything. What is the saying? It's harder to get through for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. That's if you're rich, that kind of energy. Getting to heaven would be, not doing a very good job of this. But okay, I'm going to start from the beginning of that again. For a rich person to get through to heaven would be as difficult as a camel passing through the eye of a needle. So it's talking about some spiritual people feel you shouldn't have any comfort or any needs, and so they deprive themselves, which is kind of silly. And then there's people who all they care about is worldly desires, and so that needs to be in balance. Like you can't, you have to have, your soul is here on the journey, and your soul has certain spiritual needs, and you also have your physical needs. And there's nothing wrong with wanting beautiful things around you, and that kind of energy, living a good lifestyle. So it's just a problem when you're taking it from other people when it doesn't belong to you. And we have the courage, to face this. So this is talking about having, this battle energy. You don't want to be battling for what is already yours. So what you need to do is have the courage to stand up to it, but not get into the nasty, as much as possible. And then this is about pride again also. So it can be really challenging if you're in this relationship and your whole life is based around this energy, and especially this would be like a very public, a couple breaking up that was very public kind of energy. So it's going to affect the reputations and on and on. It has so many effects. And so I feel like if you were a politician or, an actor or whatever, and you're having these problems, it can be it would be really challenging, I think. Think how challenging it is to have those issues if you're just a regular everyday person that doesn't have paparazzi following you and deciphering every word you say and all of that kind of energy. So it's kind of like it could really take a lot, you know, out of your pride sort of energy. So I feel like this has been an interesting reading. I just found it kind of, for whatever reason, I found that energy of Davos to be in this a lot. And just the dynamics of how that played out. Like if you watch the different speakers speaking and that kind of energy, it was I found it very interesting to hear all the different leaders from around the world saying their piece. And, you know, then at the same time, like watching the dynamics around that, it was pretty cool. Anyway, please do like and comment if you've enjoyed this reading, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. I would be honored if you did so. I will be back with another reading for you, Cancer, and that will be for the beginning of... Yes, the beginning, sorry. I had to think about it for a minute here, because this is a bonus reading. I wasn't sure whether I'd have time to do this or not. And then the full moon energy kept coming in. So remember that, you know, it's okay for you to put yourself first right now. If you're a person that usually puts other people first, make sure you consider that. Bye for now, Cancer. Okay, Stella, yes, we have to wake you up.